Hello, everybody. It's August the 4th, 2023, and it's time for another episode of AMA Air. Coming up today, we're going to tell you all about this year's National Air Modeling Championships.
I'll talk about my NATS experience, plus our trip to AirVenture.
And we bid farewell to AMA's longest tenured employee who is retiring. We'll tell you all about that and more coming up today on AMA Air. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of AMA Air. My name is Matt Ruddick.
I'm Lee Ray.
What's up, Lee? How's it going down in Texas?
It's hot. I think we've had this discussion before after every summer. It is hot down here. Like the heat index is 105, and it's currently like 78 in my office. So yeah, it's hot down here in Texas.
I can't.
Yeah,
I can't put into words how I feel about that kind of heat factor. Well, we want
How
to.
How are you though? How's Muncie?
You know what? Muncie's doing pretty good. It's a little on the warmer side, not as warm as it is in Texas. I can promise you that. But things are good here. We're just getting out of the Nats. The Nats wrapped up just a couple of days ago. The FAI, the Helicopter World Championships, are just getting underway. The registrations and stuff are going on right now. We'll talk all about that a little bit more later. But we're on the other side of the Nats, so I'm starting to feel a lot more relaxed and a little bit more at ease than I have been in the last few weeks. So I got that going for me.
It's quite busy out there. I've been sharing your photos, and they are really good. So thanks for all the work you do to get that content out on our Facebook page and other social media outlets.
Absolutely. I want to shout out to Bryce Hutchins as well. He's running the buttons behind the scenes here for the show. He's been out alongside me as well, getting all sorts of content for the Nats this year. We're going to talk more about the Nats here in just a minute. We've got a whole lot of stuff to go over today. Well, let's just kick it off. Let's start with the Nats, shall we?
Okay, you bet. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
As everybody knows, this was the 100th anniversary of the first Nats competition, the Mulvihill. This was the National Air Modeling Championships for 2023. We had over 700 competitors were here competing all throughout the summer, starting, indoor was back at the end of June. Then the outdoor Nats started here in Muncie at the 1st of July, and it was incredible. I got to say, we talked to a whole lot of competitors out here on site, and everybody was out having a great time, very excited to get out and compete in this historic anniversary of the Nats. And the one big event that I think we were all kind of looking forward to, the event that started it all, was the Mulvihill. And the Mulvihill event for the outdoor free flight folks took place. And we had, I think, just an amazing competition that day, and we had an awesome person end up coming out on top. That was Hope Finn. She ended up taking home this year's Mulvihill trophy, and there she is there. She's from Georgia. Her whole family flies. Her whole family was actually competing in the Mulvihill, quite frankly. Both of her sons ended up getting on the podium for the junior division. So it was a family affair for the Finn family this year, and Hope took home that first place trophy in the Mulvihill. So I was very excited for her and her family that day. So it was so much fun.
Yeah, I want to say I've hung out with their family, her husband Josh. We were at CEF together, so we had a really good time at dinner and just chatting up aviation, and we had a lot of fun. And Josh got to fly our airplane Plywood Overcast. So good relationships. You make a lot of friends out there, and I'm so excited for Hope for winning the Mulvihill trophy.
Yeah, and she was obviously very, very excited. I would encourage you guys to stay on the lookout for the November issue of Model Aviation Magazine, where we're going to have a full article in there kind of recapping the Nats. We're going to have a whole lot of photos there. There's a whole lot of photos that if you haven't seen them yet, Lee mentioned them earlier, we've got a whole bunch up on our Facebook page. We've got a full album there from this year's Nats that we've tried to keep up to date. I think, matter of fact, Lee, I think I sent you some more today that you haven't had a chance to put up. Sorry about that.
I haven't had a chance to, but a couple hundred more, just a few, but definitely were.
Maybe not that many. Well, okay, maybe it was. But it was just, I had a great time. I always have a great time at the Nats, getting to talk to people and getting to witness some of these amazingly skilled pilots doing what they do best. But what I want to actually hear about is your experience, because you came here for your first Nats, and I got to talk to you a little bit out on site, but I'm curious, overall, what was your experience like, and I want you to share that with us.
I didn't go for competing. It shows in the scores. Let's just say that. And I'll quickly tell you the funniest part is that on one event that I participated, I flew in all 4 of the rounds that I needed to. And my times weren't great, but I flew, I landed, I was happy. But one guy beat me who had 1 flight. So that just goes to tell you, you got to be a little better to fly out here. So needless to say, I came out there to experience Nats, and honestly, to have fun with my son, who's going to college. I wanted to have one of these little blowout parties per se on flying, and take my father's Olympic out there to compete. And I will tell you, I had a blast. I could sit here and take up the whole show, but I won't do that. But I do have a slideshow here that I wanted to share with everybody on the experience. And again, it was worth going to hang out with some wonderful friends, new friends, and just have fun. Never felt pressured, was given some good advice, was given some good pats on the shoulders when things didn't go right. But honestly, what was really cool is that I can say my son and I were very proud, because we flew, we landed, and we got all of our landings within, say, 30 feet every time. And to me, that's kind of what the lesson my dad taught me. It's like, when you got to learn how to fly, make sure you understand energy and get the plane back to you. Don't make it land far away. And we did. And so that was our award. But continuing on, this is my dad's Airtronics Olympic 99. That's the field out at IAC, guys. It's just gorgeous out there. We had some really nice weather. And thank you, Matt, for this photo. This is me about to launch my Olympic, or my dad's Olympic, but that's me in the corner photo holding my dad's Olympic when I was probably 8 years old if you look at the wood covered walls there. But that's me holding my dad's Olympic after he finished it. And it was just great to take it to the skies. It's not the best looking plane out there. It's certainly not in the best shape, but it's probably, and I'm going to guess, I think it was the oldest airplane out there, physically the one that had been had the longest life on it. And it was a pleasure. I had some really nice flights with it. Nothing very long, but it just to put a smile on my face. These 2 photos, the top photo is my son's, someone launching my son's $5, get this, Matt, $5 swap meet Great Plains Spirit glider. I got that at the swap meet. I handed it to him. He hooked it up with a tow hook. We took it. That guy had over a 9-minute flight on that Spirit, and he put a huge smile on his face, because that's the goal. You want to try to get a 10-minute flight. He had a 9-minute flight. The picture below, that's me flying my Craft Air Golden Eagle. It's kind of the little brother to the Sail Air, and I had a 9-minute and 45-second flight, and couldn't ask for more than that. I was lucky to get that flight, but that plane flew very well. Again, I'd mentioned earlier, proud moments when you can get the plane back to the spot, and this was my son flying my Craft Air in the nostalgia class. I don't know, 2-3 feet from the center. And that smile on his face was hard to wipe off, because that was a very proud moment.
I feel like that was actually the moment that I walked up that day, because you guys were coming off the flight line. And I remember you looking at me and telling me that it's like, well, I've got to stop taking it easy on this kid. He's doing better than I am.
Well, he did beat me at an event, so he rubbed it in hard. The 2-meter event, he crushed me, but that is what it is. But I was very happy with our performance. Again, a shout out to all the guys out there. I don't remember everybody's name, but Wayne was out there flying his Sail Air, so it was kind of nice for us to fly the Golden Eagle and Sail Air together. My good friend Scott Black was out there. He's the one who kind of, pumped me up and helped me, relax me, say, hey, this is all you have to do. And he was kind of my guide. So Scott, thank you. Another gentleman out there by the name of Josh, who's obviously a professional. This is his gig. He plays second in several events. But I loved how he was talking to my son, just not really like telling him what to do, like, don't do that. He was just egging him on. It's like, oh, that was an awesome flight, and what was a great landing. And that's the kind of, what do you call it, friendship you need out there, because we're all competing. You know, everybody wants the trophy, but they were so friendly. And this was the line there, guys. Just, we're all launching, and it's kind of intense. Everybody's trying to get their plane up as high as they can. You know, I said this before, these guys who compete, they have the planes to compete. They weigh nothing. You know, my planes were lead bricks, and so they could find lift. They could just throw it, it would take off. And the guy who won, by the way, I want to reach out and mention this gentleman's name. I teasingly say Mike Wazowski from, like, but it's not. It's Mike Lachowski, I believe. He won every event of this trifecta: 2 meter, nostalgia, and res. And his scores were close to perfect. And the guy was just chill, just having fun. It's like, oh yeah, I got another 3,000 points, whatever. It was fun as heck. But boy, I tell you, he nailed every event, and we just had fun doing it. And so definitely would recommend you guys, if you have not experienced the Nats, if you just have fun, find the event, talk to the SIG that handles that event, look at the Nats website to go to the calendar, and talk with them and get involved. In fact, I will share in a second the link for the Nats soaring thread on RC groups. That's where I learned so much of my information about what to do, what to bring, what the schedule was, and everybody was interactive. They want you to come. They want you to compete. They want you to come back with a big smile on your face. I don't have the photo here. I didn't include it in the slideshow, but Austin did win a trophy. I won nothing, but he won our participation trophy. I'm just like, I love my son to death, but he was the only person in the age group for his senior class for 2 meter, I think. So, oh no, nostalgia class. So flying my Golden Eagle, he won a trophy. And I didn't.
Hey, but here's the great part about that is you guys got to take home one of those awesome looking trophies. I don't think we have a picture. I wish I would have thought about this sooner. I would have had a picture ready for you guys to show. But those trophies that we had out there this year, every person that I talked to that we were talking about the trophies had just nothing but glowing things to say about them because they were so kind of unique this year. So hey, you got to take one home, even if it's not yours.
Yeah, it's not. I'll leave it in my office. I'll just scratch his name out. No, I'm really proud of him. I'm really glad we had a chance to do that. So if you don't have a child who's involved in the flying event, take a friend, have fun. It's camaraderie. It's a great time. So glad I went.
And as you said, like everybody, all the competitors that are out there, they encourage new people to come out. They want new people to come out and keep these competitions alive. And it sounds like you had a great experience yourself with people helping you guys out and kind of showing you the ropes and giving you tips. I was seeing that happen constantly with every discipline. I mean, it really is a one-of-a-kind situation where the guys you're competing with, they want to help you. They want to help you be better. So if you're on the fence about competing at the Nats, I encourage you to get off the fence and come on out next year. It's going to be a good time.
Well, I'll mention we want other people to get in the event. And I'm going to, again, a shout out to all the guys there who are talking to my son, cheering him on because he has a knack for it. He understands it. He senses the thermals. He can get the plane back. He wasn't, taking it as a, fun flight. He was taking it seriously. But the thing was, I'd mentioned the little $5 swap meet plane. There were other guys there competing with planes they had just picked up from an estate sale or something because they'd always want that plane or something. And they competed with them and they did very well. And I talking to my son on the way home, we were like making notes, like on our next Nats, what should we do? And he's like, well, we definitely need lighter planes. And so I'm on the lookout now for some of those planes to compete with so that we have a better chance of moving up the list.
Yeah, you get that first one out of the way and now you can start strategizing a little bit. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you want to learn more about what went down this year at the Nats, obviously I mentioned earlier the November issue of Model Aviation Magazine that's going to have some coverage there that you can see. You can also head over to modelaircraft.org/Nats where you can check out Nats News, the Nats News coverage that has been going on all summer long. Thanks to our wonderful reporters that we've had out on site. The SIGs have done a great job helping us out, finding reporters to help give coverage to all these events. And we've got those up on our Nats News webpage. Again, modelaircraft.org/Nats, where you can find that there. And of course, as we mentioned, you can go check out the pictures we've been posting on social media. I'm going to plug those all day long because, I think they're
They're
quite
yours.
good.
In chat, I just posted the RC groups link. So if you guys want to see more photos from the soaring event and hear more about it, that SIG did a great job to put everything in that thread.
Thank you for doing that too, because we don't always talk about the RC groups threads that pop up for the Nats, but they are just great places to find information, especially from the soaring community. Those guys are very, very active over there. So yeah, definitely check that out, guys, if you're interested, especially in soaring. I've mentioned on this show before the soaring community at the Nats. They're some of my favorite people in the world. They're so much fun to be around, and yeah, I'll always like to plug them whenever I can. So
we had a lot of fun. I'll say that it was definitely worth the trip.
Well, speaking of fun, Lee, I know you had some fun. So you came up here to the Nats. You drove all the way from Texas, all the way up here to Muncie, Indiana, and then you stayed for what, 2 days?
3.
Was it 3? Sorry. You stayed for 3 days, and then you drove even farther away from home. You went up to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, to the biggest air show in the world, AirVenture. Lee, tell us a little bit about your trip to AirVenture.
Is this the hashtag, but wait, there's more? Okay, so yeah. there was some fun in Muncie, and then there was more fun in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I've been there several times. We've talked about it. This was another great year for a partnership between the AMA and the EAA. And again, another slideshow. And I will try to keep it short, but it is such a great event. First off, anybody who's watching live or looking at the comments section there, if you haven't been to AirVenture, it has to be put on your bucket list right now. Put it on your list. It is so much fun. Now, I will say today, the first few days of air quality were horrible. So hashtag blame Canada. But it was pretty dark in the sky. So you can see the blue sky there on the left photo. That's the entrance of Oshkosh. And it got so much better during the week. And I love this event just because you've got people there. It's kind of like, you want to go where people are happy. This is definitely a happy people place. Lots of cool planes, lots of neat air show events, a wonderful fireworks event. But then let's talk about what we do. We have a huge event there called UAS for STEM, and Kyle Jarris, our education director, is in charge of it. And I think we had 12 groups participate, 6 in each class, beginner and advanced. And I wish I could have hung out more with them. I had different duties earlier in the day, but these kids are awesome. I've seen them perform in the past, and I am so proud of these young students who come out there. They not only do they get to see AirVenture, but they get to show their skills in their contests for doing UAS deliveries. And it's a really cool program because one of their tasks is to deliver water to a spot, a location, and maybe do some investigative work. This is really cool stuff. This is uncrewed processes that I think in the future will take place. So these young kids that you see in these photos here, they're our future. They're going to develop some new technologies. So really proud of them. And I actually have the winning groups here. So I'm going to announce them while Bryce, our awesome producer, is showing these photos. So in the beginner division, 3rd place went to the Greenville Cap, or Civil Air Patrol. 2nd place went to the Redstone Cap, and 1st place went to St. Mary's Cap. So all 3 of the Civil Air Patrol beginner groups won 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Congratulations, guys. And in the advanced group, in 3rd place was the Midtown Mavericks. In 2nd place was Some Assembly Required. And in 1st place, which I think is their return visit for 1st, is the Macintosh Aeronautics group. And there are all the winners right there in that photo. A lot of nice kids, nice food. In fact, I'll mention this a little later. We had a lot of them show up at the RC flying event at Pioneer Runway, and they all had their hands at flying some of the Aero Scouts we had up there. So again, great group. Thanks, guys, for participating in US for STEM. You can learn more. We'll have a link here. I think it's actually right here. Let me pull it up because I think there we go. If you want to participate in the 2024 teams for UAS for STEM and head up to AirVenture, go to this link right here on the screen and sign your crew up. There's more information that you can read to get a fun group of kids out to AirVenture. It's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, uh, it's really amazing how much these kids learn in terms of how these multi-rotors work, what they can do from a technological standpoint to solve some of these problems that they're posed to, that are posed to them. And it never fails. Every single year, these groups of kids that come through here, they always impress. I hear stories from whether it's you or Kyle or anybody that's part of the UAS for STEM program. They always come back with stories about how impressive these kids are and or how innovative they become in the way they solve the problems. So,
I mean, watching the actual contest when they are timed, to see them set up, to see them go through safety procedures, to see them, it is amazing, and you're very impressed. And you go, how come I can't get my kids at home to like just do laundry? These kids are nailing it, and I wish I had a video of a complete flight system, especially with some of the winning teams, because everybody has a task, and it's amazing. I also want to point out that, and Kyle would be remiss if I didn't say this, but these kids are not given quadcopters that are already pre-built and pre-programmed, right, and they just push a button. These kids put them together, they test them, they run several routines, they do all the work. Good job, guys.
Yeah, you're not only like putting hardware together, but you're programming software. You're doing everything from the ground up, from scratch, to make these things fly and do what they need them to do for their mission objectives. So it's a really incredible program, and it's so just awesome to see so many kids taking part in it and having such a great time and getting to experience that at a place like AirVenture, where you've got 10,000 airplanes coming in, you've got over 600,000 people going through the gates. What a cool opportunity for those kids.
It is. And a quick shout out to EAA for hosting this event at AirVenture, but also Skydio for providing the several of the Skydio drones that were out there.
Absolutely. So you started to touch on it earlier. I think it's important for us to talk just a little bit, if we can, about the evening flying that the AMA was kind of heading up at AirVenture this year. What can you tell us about that?
Well, let me go through my slideshow, Matt. I'll be all right.
Hey, more pictures. All right.
More pictures. Okay. Well, I got to mention what we do out there. So we have several events. We do, obviously we have UAS for STEM. We also bring out our sim trailer. This is located near Ultralights. It is always packed. There are always a lot of people in there. Kudos to Mark and Kenny, who are out there, managing it, making sure it's on, making sure it works. But there are so many kids that we want to get into this hobby. This is a great way, a little gateway to get into the simulation and flying. And then whatever you practice here, take over to RC flying event, which is, I think, coming up. This is the Blue Barn. I'm going to stop here for a second. This is something I'm very passionate about. This is a partnership with the AMA, where we work with the AA and their young Eagles to do what is called a build and fly program, where we help develop a kit that the young Eagles will build in their hangars, and then work hopefully with an AMA chartered club nearby so that they can get some advice on building and fly at an AMA chartered club, and then take that experience to the next level, which is building a full-scale aircraft. They've had a lot of success there. There have been speakers there, and there's an actual little speaker area in this Blue Barn where people come in and talk about their all types of EAA chapter things. But one guy in particular talks about his Young Eagles program and how much they love this. I had so many great conversations with folks out there. I hope if you get to go to AirVenture, you look for the Blue Barn. It's kind of over on the north side, but just look on your map, come see me. It is a great partnership we have with the AA. Can't wait to do it again next year. Lots of good conversations. Yeah. But then going to Matt's question, what is the RC flying fun? Oh man, this is great. I mean, Matt, you need to come out there and hang with us and fly, man. But thanks to Wing for sponsoring this event. Wing did several drone delivery demos while we were out there. But we get to hang out at Pioneer Runway. It's a grass strip behind the museum. They have a lot of Bell helicopter flights during the day. And when they stop flying around 6 o'clock, the runway is ours. And we have total ownership. And in this photo, I got my buddies, Terry and Fitz from the RC Roundtable group. They came out, thankfully. I owe them so much to come out and offer training flights for some newbies. both old and young. And we had all those Aero Scouts actively in the air. Thank you, Jeff Lee, for keeping the batteries charged because we were nonstop. Tuesday was, I don't know, over 30, maybe people coming back and forth, not to mention all the people on the flight line who brought their own planes. Again, let me put that out there. Bring your own RC planes, 3 pounds or less, electric only, and fly out there so you can say you flew out at Oshkosh. And great nights. Didn't have really any issues. There was one where the weather was iffy, but it just went away. We kept flying, had a great time. Again, another one of my favorite things to do out there is do the RC event. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing my vest because I was the safety officer after Tony left. But Tony Stillman was a safety officer first, and then I had to tell people what to do. A lot of fun. I could go on and on, but I'll end there unless you have any questions, Matt.
I just want to point out, and some might say this is me kissing up a little bit, but I don't think you could have found a couple of better intro flight instructors than Terry Dunn and Fitz Walker. What a pleasure that had to have been for those kids who are coming out there, kids and people of all ages who are coming out there to fly for the first time, getting tips from two experienced pros like that.
Here's a true story. We had a young man come out. I'm sorry I forgot your name, young man, but you'll correct me if you're on the show. He came out on Monday or Tuesday, had Terry teach him how to fly an Aero Scout, went to the Horizon Hobby booth at AirVenture, picked up an Aero Scout, came back the next day, said, "Could you help me fly it?" We flew it. We actually had to make some corrections. I think the CG was wrong and his landing gear was a little twisted, so we fixed that. They came out the next day and said, "Can you teach me how to take off?" Can you teach me how to land? The last day, probably Friday, he was up in the air by himself. We were just stood next to him because he had all that practice, and he was flying his own Aero Scout. His grandfather came up to me afterwards and thanked us for helping him, understand everything. He was very attentive. He was very serious. He didn't, take it as a joke or just, what can I do with it? He was paying attention, and you know what? We got another guy hooked.
I absolutely love that story. That's fantastic. That's what this is all about. That's what doing that evening flying is all about for experiences like that.
Yeah. Hey, Ronnie, sorry, I'm going to jump in. Ronnie just made me laugh, the Vesta Power. I did have the Power, Ronnie. And Ronnie, thank you for being out there too. I know I didn't mention you there, but you were hanging out in the tent and you were, again, promoting this hobby very well. So thank you for also hanging out with us. And we would love to have more volunteers. If you would like to come out and spend a couple of hours with us at the flying event, at the trailer, at the Blue Barn, and you just want to motivate people into getting in this hobby, we are happy to take more volunteers.
And I think it's also worth pointing out that Ronnie was at the Nats for longer than you were, Lee. He was there that whole week with outdoor free flight, and then made the trip up to Oshkosh. So kudos to you, Ronnie, for having that kind of dedication. Holy cow, that's a long couple of weeks right there, I'm sure.
So 2 more slides and we'll move on. Obviously, 3 more slides now that I realize it. I wanted to point out that Embry-Riddle was there for both the Prescott and Daytona campuses. And these are the planes that they competed with. These students design, build, and fly their own, and their carbon fiber for their own design, build, fly college competition. It's kind of like the SAE Aero Design, but this is a different version. And I got to see these things up close. Amazing talent. These college kids are going places like my son. The touch there. My son's going to Riddle Daytona, very proud of him. So I hope he gets to show me pictures of their designs when he gets there. So that was nice that they had some model airplane displays at their booth. And of course, there's an air show, guys. There's tons of planes. I'm not going to show you all my photos. I hope if you want to see more, you can go to the AMA Facebook page. We have a photo gallery for all our EAA AirVenture photos. Please go visit them. I think, Matt, we talked about this before the show, but this is RJ Gritter flying his Super Decathlon. He put on a wonderful show and pointed out that this gentleman is an RC guy. Got started in RC, did some competitions, and now he's flying the full scale in the air, and he put on a great show. And again, another little fun story, at the Blue Barn, we have an RC simulator program. And a young girl, 13, who wants to be a pilot came in, and we were just talking, and she said, "I want to fly a plane that's got smoke." So we went over to the flight simulator, and I gave her a super decathlon, and she had a blast. So I'm looking forward to seeing her in the future. Hope we can, keep an eye on her and see her growth from model aviation to full scale. Maybe we can go back to this video from years in the past and show her up there on the main flight line.
I could tell you that a few years ago, I don't remember exactly what year, it's probably around 2017 or 18, maybe in that kind of vicinity. RJ Gritter actually came out, and he helped out with Camp AMA quite a bit, and he actually did a private air show for the camp kids in his full scale out here on site. It was incredible. It was an incredible experience for those kids to see that stuff kind of up close and in person. Yeah. Heck of a guy and an incredibly talented pilot. So
yeah, go look him up, folks. If you're on the internet, he's got his own little page to talk about the events he's going to. Very neat. And like we said, that plane is not built as some of the larger planes. The horsepower on it is a lot more smaller, but he flies it so well. And then I think I have one more picture because you have these. It's a lot of fun, but then you have your military photos. And didn't get to take as many photos as I have in the past. Again, was quite busy, but that F-22 loved putting on a show and ringing my ears.
I saw a video at one point where that thing did what basically looked like a hairpin turn in midair. That I said, how does that plane not stall? I don't understand the physics behind that.
Power.
Man.
And we also had F-35s there. There were 4 A-10s this year. I mean, I can go on and on. There are tons of other photos. By the way, I mean, I have some photos on the AMA Facebook page, but do go to Facebook, the EAA. I'm not sure it's theirs, but there is a photo video group out there that people are just posting all their stuff. It's amazing. Some great stuff, especially from some of the fireworks. So again, at the beginning of this, I said, if you haven't been, put it on your bucket list. I'll say it again. Definitely is a must to travel to Wisconsin to go see this awesome event.
Well, Lee, thank you for giving us kind of the recap there from AirVenture. Again, if you guys have not been to AirVenture, put it on your bucket list. It is an incredible experience. If not a little overwhelming, that was the takeaway I had with the one time that I've gone, was it's like, this is really fun, but man, was it overwhelming. There was just so much to see. So you won't get bored there, that's for sure.
Hey, you know what? And a little shout out to our producer who's behind the screen. Bryce was there. We hung out together. We did some photos for UAS for STEM, and that was some of the stuff he showed earlier. But that was his first AirVenture, so we'll have to pull some more information. I think overwhelming was one of the words he used. It was quite busy, but it's definitely a lot of fun.
Well, guys, we've gotten to say goodbye to this year's Nats. We've gotten to say goodbye to this year's AirVenture. You love my segues. This is all about how
this is an amazing segue. That's why I'm crying.
Today, we actually are saying goodbye to our longest tenured employee here at the AMA, Joyce Hager. Some of you may know her from all sorts of events that she's attended, from Joe Nall to she for years was at the Week Signals Toledo RC show, AMA Expo, you name it. She's kind of been around there. She's been an employee here at the AMA for 53 years.
6 months, 2 days.
53 years, 6 months, 2 days.
2 days. She told me.
I believe she made that very specific. Dating all the way back to when the AMA headquarters was out in Reston, Virginia.
Right.
And today marks her final day. She's retiring as of 5 o'clock today. And we wanted to wish Joyce a very special farewell because I got to say, since I've been here at AMA, if there is one person that is on staff here in this building that I'm like, I have a question about something Nats related, or something, National Fun File related, or something AMA Expo related, it doesn't matter. If I had a question, she is probably going to be the person who knows the answer to it, because she has taken part in so many different things in this hobby throughout the years. She was executive director for a period of time here. She's been the staff director for quite a number of years up until now. Joyce has just been kind of the linchpin of the AMA, and it's really going to be hard to see her go. But it's a well-deserved retirement. I'm very happy for her. I know we all are. So we just wanted to make sure that we gave her a special shout out here on the show to wish her well in her retirement and to let everybody know that Joyce is going to be saying goodbye. But I'm sure I know she's going to be around. I know her partner takes part in pylon racing, so she's not going to be going very far. But it's going to be tough to see her go, but it's well deserved.
Well, I talked to her on the phone earlier, and I'll see her at Joe Nall in the future. She's going to be very close by to Joe Nall, so she'll be there. She's a staple there. Yeah. But my favorite story, personal story with Joyce, was that my first Perry swap meet, when I was going, I called her because I'd never been there, and I asked her for advice, and she said, "Well, when you get here, just call me. I'll get you in." I was like, okay. Now, if you know any stories about Perry Swap Meet, they have the story is there's this huge long line of cars that are trying to line up to get tables or whatever to bring their stuff in. And she's like, no, you go here and just tell them Joyce sent you. That works because I got past two huge lines. I talked to someone and said, Joyce sent me, and he sent me through. And then Joyce is like waving at me near this entrance. She goes, I got a parking space for you. And I parked right near the darn warehouse. We're like, what the heck? And she's like, no, I got you. You're good. We're AMA. We're fine. We work with, she got me a nice spot up front, and I bless her heart, man. That was so wonderful. I mean, I immediately started helping her set up the booth, the AMA booth. Like, I gotta pay you back for this treatment. But, that's what she does. She works out. Everybody knows her. And
that's it right there. Everybody knows Joyce. It doesn't matter what event's going on. It doesn't matter, if it's free flight folks, if it's scale folks, if it's pylon racing folks, if it's control line folks, it doesn't matter. You mentioned the name Joyce, and everybody knows who you're talking about. Yeah, so I'm not surprised by that story even a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't get to videotape this, but at Joe Nall, when they were giving her an award, there were just tons of people at the flight. They shut the flight night down to give her an award. So bless her heart. I really enjoyed working with her. I hope I still get to hang out with her at future events.
Well, like I said, I don't think she's going to be going very far. I think she's going to be hanging around quite a bit. But as I said, we all wish her a very warm congratulations on her retirement. Of course, there's one of our district vice presidents, Mark Radcliffe, chiming in, offering his best of luck wishes for her. George Wilson also chimed in there. He said, Joyce has been a constant for so long back to Reston, as I recall. Absolutely. She was back in Reston. Was part of the move out here to Muncie. And again, she's just been, to call her a linchpin in this organization for so long, I think is probably an understatement, but it might be the best that I can come up with my limited vocabulary at the moment. So there we go. Well, let's do a little switching gears if we don't mind here, Lee. Let's talk about our iFly AMA cover photo contest, because as everybody knows, every month we switch that iFly AMA cover photo out for one that you guys all vote on in our iFly AMA Facebook group. If you're not yet a member of that Facebook group, head over to facebook.com/groups/iFly AMA and fill out the little questionnaire. You hit join and it'll ask you a couple questions just to make sure you're human. We don't want any robots infiltrating, no AI bots.
Oh, we get robots.
Well, Elon Musk or somebody sending an AI bot in there to do something. Who knows? You don't know. So we just want to make sure that everybody's on the up and up, and you can join into the conversations that we have going on in there, which are loads of fun. And hey, you can possibly become someone who submits their photo and wins that coveted cover photo spot. So without further ado, Lee, who do we have winning the cover photo contest for the month of August?
Congratulations, Steven Stelman, for this B-17 on a float parade. Maybe this was in July. I want to say I saw him submit the photo before, so he just went ahead and submitted again, got a lot more likes, and he is our winner. So thank you for sharing that. I hope this gives some ideas to other people. Like if you guys have a parade or something, load them up with warbirds, man. Can't go wrong. Kids are going to love that. So
I love a good warbird, man. I love a good warbird. I really do.
Do some reenactments or something like that, a little midway or something. But anyway, that's a really great photo. So thanks for sharing with us, Stephen. And it's currently on the background photo of our Facebook page. There's a new link at the top of the page that are called Featured that has the new one for September. So go ahead and start adding your photos. And, even so, there are some previous winners that put photos back in there just so you can enjoy them all. We ask that the ones we're going to choose are hopefully ones who haven't won before. But again, look through all those really fun photos. It's a blast. Not to mention the group is very active and lots of good conversations.
Absolutely. So be sure to go check that out when you get a free chance. And finally, we wanted to let you guys know that, because we talked about the Nats, we talked about AirVenture, but there is one more big event that's going on starting today here at the International Air Modeling Center. And it's one we've talked to you guys about in the past. It is the 2023 FAI F3C and F3N World Championships for model helicopters. The registration and everything is happening right now as we speak. We're going to have some opening ceremonies tomorrow to kind of introduce all of the competitors. I believe there are 11 different countries that are here competing this year for these helicopter world championships. And it's going to be going on through August the 10th. Let me check my dates. It is August the 10th. So through the middle of next week, the top pilots in helicopter flying in the world are going to be here competing for that world championship. And we're going to have some photos and possibly some video coverage coming out to you guys next week. So be sure to stick around to our social media channels to see some of that. But it's going to be a blast. We're going to have so much fun out here for this.
More photos, Matt.
Yeah, yeah.
And more video, Bryce.
But it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, just the top pilots in the world in helicopter flying are going to be here. They're already here. They're getting registered today. They're doing some pre-competition meetings and things, and they may even be doing some practicing. I heard that might be happening today, but don't quote me on that. Okay. But yeah, it's going to be a great time. All right, Lee. That's all I have on my rundown. Do you have anything else you want to talk to the good folks about before we sign off?
Tons of stuff, but I'll just remind everybody we are still working feverishly through FRIAs. We know we have a lot of folks that are getting them, and they're reporting that their club's being approved. We have had some denials, but we are actively working on those. So the AMA is here to help get your club covered. And there's a lot of information out there about remote ID. We encourage you to go search the internet to see what options there are. And September 16th deadline is coming, but keep watching AMA Air. We'll have another one in the beginning of September. Yep. And also our Facebook page and our other social media outlets will keep you informed as much as possible. Yeah, and of course, as always, if anything important does come down, anything that is time sensitive that we need to get out to you guys quickly, there's a good chance we'll probably jump on and do kind of a live stream Q&A situation just to kind of get that stuff out to you if we're not quite close to AMA Air time. It's just important for you guys to kind of stay focused on not only our social media channels, but our modelaircraft.org/gov webpage where we put updates on whenever those come up. So if anything changes, if anything comes up, we will certainly let you guys know. But hey, I think that pretty well covers it for today. Lee, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me today again. It's always fun to see you. It was fun to see you a couple weeks ago in person.
Heck yeah, it was. And we want to thank all of you guys out there for watching at home with us live today, or if you're watching after the fact, we appreciate you too, and thank you so much for checking us out. We will be back here again in just about a month for another episode of AMA Air. Until then, we hope you guys have some wonderful, safe, and happy flying, and we will see you all later.
See ya.